All right, check this out. Breaking news. So I just got an email from FCP Euro about the control arms that I installed on my Porsche. Now, I have changed these control arms twice, so I'm very surprised to see this email. Let me show you this email I'm talking about. So on this email, you guys can read it. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. It says, at FCP Euro, the quality and safety has been at the core of our mission since day one. We take pride in working directly with OE manufacturers to ensure the highest quality standards are upheld. Now, this is not an FCP issue. This is an issue with the manufacturer of the part. But FCP is letting me know that there's a recall on this part. So as I continue reading, it tells you what the recall is. It's about the Meyle control arms that are installed in Porsche chassis between 2005 and 2021. And it gives you the part numbers in here. And if I look at these part numbers, I have these part numbers in my car. Let me show you on my FCP Euro order. Oh, one more thing before I do that. So if you look at, it shows you a picture of it and says, even though it's this matching part number, only this date that's stamped on here, this date range is stamped on this control arm is what's affected. So if I zoom in on it, it says 2724. Let me zoom in. Oh, too much zoom. Sorry, I can scroll down. So you can see 2724. That's what we're looking for. We're not looking for. We don't want that on our control arms. Now I zoomed out too much. So basically, we're going to pull out our control arms. We're going to look at it. It tells you what to do in this letter, in this email from FCP Euro. If I can control my zooming, it tells you what to do. If you have the date not listed above, this recall does not impact you. If the date listed above has been installed in your vehicle, please fill out our claim form. They say they will send you control arms free of charge, of course. We'll work with Meyle to reimburse labor and associated car costs or repairs. So let me click on the hyperlink from Meyle customer recall. And if I click on that hyperlink, it takes me to the letter from Meyle. Probably not saying that right, but that's all right. It says, dear sir, madam, Meyle stands for the manufacturer and sale of premium quality tested spare parts for the independent market. Unfortunately, control arms / wheel suspension detailed above do not meet the usual high standards. We are unable to rule out manufacturing defect of these control arms, and this requires an urgent removal or exchange. This applies to Meyle control arms above with the delivery date of September 2024, and it has the part number on there, and it says production date A2724. Now, I don't know if this is what's on my car, but we're going to find out shortly. It says the potential manufacturing defect may cause dimensional deviation in control arms, which could lead to damage to your subframe. This can result in steering problems. To ensure safety, the subframe for the control arm should also be replaced. Please note the subframe is not a Meyle part. Of course not, it's a Porsche part. Let's hope that we don't have this part on our car, because if we do, we may have to replace the subframe. I don't know yet if we do or not. So let me go to my FCP Euro account, and in my FCP Euro account, you can see Porsche control arm, and that part number right there, I'm gonna highlight it, that one matches what's in their letter. 416-050-0005. 416-050-0005. That's it. And that's exactly what it looks like. So we will then look down here and see these are all the OE part numbers, and that's that part number. It does not tell me on my order. This is from my orders list. Actually, this is the description of the part. I'm sorry. My orders list is right here. And this is when I bought it. December 2014 is when I got the replacement ones. Because I replaced the front, if you remember. So the voluntary recall is talking about ones from September. I got mine in December. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I don't have these. So let's go out to the car, let's jack it up, and let's look around. All right, so we got the Porsche out here. Moved it to this side of the garage. I'm gonna use a floor jack. We're just gonna jack it up and turn the wheel and look inside and see if we can see the part number on that lower control arm without taking anything apart. Hopefully we can, fingers crossed. Let's jack it up. I look cute with my headlamp on. Yeah, Good. Now let's shine some light in here and see what year is on, what date stamp is on that control arm. All right. Now, you remember what it's that picture it showed? The date stamp is over here somewhere. So let's see. It is that it? Oh, there it is. So that's good. This one is good. This one says model year 23. So it's not the 24 that's in the recall. Now let's check the one on the right side. Fingers crossed, that one is good as well. As long as that number does not say 24. Well, there's a specific number, but we're looking. That last digit is not a 4. We're good. Lights, camera, action. All right, let's see. Let's get in here. Oh, this one's dirty. This one's dirty because this is the one with the broken axle. I'm gonna have to clean that off, but I can see a number right there. Let me clean that off, and then I can read it because I can't read shit right now. So it took me a few minutes and a little dirt, but it came right out using Fabuloso. If you're Latino, you know what Fabuloso is. I use some Fabuloso, a little wire brush right here, and a paper towel. It cleaned right out. And I brought my little dog army with me. Cookie, what you doing? That's what's up. Gordo, what you doing, Papa? All right, so now let's look at it again. This time we should be able to read the part number. Right. Much cleaner, and all right, that's nice and clean. There's the date stamp. Yes, sir. Thank God I don't have those control arms that are in the recall. But that's how you can check real quick. I did nothing other than use a floor jack and turn the wheel and put a light and my phone back there. And that's how I checked what part number date stamp is on my control arms. So thank God I don't have that issue and I don't have to worry about it. If you have that issue, that's how you check the part number before you move forward. Super easy. You can do it in the garage. Takes a few minutes. Piece of cake. So we checked the front, but you're wondering why didn't I check the rear? Because the front and rear use the same part number control arms. That's because I changed the rear control arms in 2022. I actually changed all of them in 2022, but then the front one, the right especially, was had some play in it, and the bushing wore out sooner than it should have, and I got them replaced. I got new ones replaced under warranty. Those are the ones we checked today, and the dates on them are good, so I don't have to worry about the recall. So the rears are going to be good. Let's try to see if we can see a part number on the rear right now without doing anything, without lifting the car up. It's going to be a challenge because the car is lowered, but we're going to try it with some light and the camera and see if we can get the rear. So I tried to jack up the rear and look at the, well, I tried to do it without jacking up the rear. So I jacked up the rear of the car and I still couldn't get my head under there or get enough view under there to see the date stamp on the rear control arms. Mainly because that giant beast of a tire, 325, is just too damn wide with the 12-inch rim on it. 12 inches wide. So it's just too big. You have to pull the wheel off. Then I remembered something. I have a video about this. So I went back to the video that I did. It says the video title is Porsche 911 control arms. It's this one here. And in that video, I had all the control arms laid out. Now, since I installed those control arms on this car, I have never changed the rear ones. So I know those are the rear ones that are still on there. And guess what I found in the video? I found a date stamp right on the control arm right there. So all those were bought in a kit together. So I'm very, very confident that both those rear control arms are correct and there's no issues with them. I had to be sure that the rears were not affected, and I looked in the video and both the rears are from 2022 and both of my front control arms are from 2023. So they were not part of the batch. They're in the recall that was just announced today. Hopefully they don't expand the recall. Hopefully they don't. I've had no issues other than that first one on the right got beat up. That was pretty much probably mostly some of the roads I drove in LA, and I was driving at speed. So that probably had more to do with it than it failing on its own. But since I replaced the front ones recently, I've had no issues. Car runs and drives great, feels great. The only issue I have is tires a little worn out. That's a good problem to have. You're driving your car enough to wear out the tires? Yeah, I'll do some more of that. So that's all for the recall. I know what you're gonna say. Oh, you still haven't told me about the other part, the personal part of my life. Yes, I know. Let's get into it. We're gonna do that right now. First, I need to take my daughter somewhere. So on the way back from dropping her off, we'll talk about it. So let's talk about it. So I've been promising you guys that I was going to tell you what has happened over the last 5 years. So we're going to take the back roads just so we can chit chat. So over the last 5 years, I was in this position that I was in with my job in Portland, Oregon. I love Portland, Oregon. Forget what you think you know about Portland, Oregon and the news and all the negative stuff you hear. There's some of that, yes, but not to the level that you would think there is. Portland is probably one of the coolest, best places I have ever lived. I love living here. But that's going to come to an end, and it's coming to an end real soon. It's not a negative thing. You know, I'm not really crazy about leaving Portland because it is a city that I've adapted to and I love very much. But I am looking forward to the new adventure. So those in my inner circle, and if you've watched some of my previous videos throughout especially the last 2 years, you can see there's an energy level that wasn't there. There's an energy level that I have now that I have not had in a long time. And that was job related. So I'm not going to talk about the negatives or the bad stuff because you know what? When you surround yourself with negative people and negative comments, you just get a negative result. You put out positive energy into the universe, you will get positive results. What do they call that? Manifestation. You manifest positive energy and good things. It will happen. If you just dwell on the negative and negativity, that's what you're going to have, unfortunately. So for a long time, I was very negative and I had negative results. And I'm not just saying this to speak at you. I'm saying this because I've lived this. I've gone through this recently. And so I've had a lot of negativity in my life, especially the last few years. And I have removed that negativity. If you're close to me and you know me personally and professionally in my regular day job, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I will tell you, it wasn't all negative. There was a lot of positives. The most important one, it gave me the freedom to do what I really wanted to do. It gave me the freedom to become a pilot. It gave me the freedom to make these videos. Let me turn on the lights here. It gave me the freedom to make videos on YouTube and DIY stuff with my car, with my dogs, spend quality time with my family. So I can never regret that. I can never say, oh, because of this situation, I gotta look at the positive. So that allowed me to do that. And I wouldn't have that with any other job. With my current new job that I have, I'm not gonna be able to have the same level of freedom. That's also why I've changed my schedule and I will put out a video every Friday is my goal. Put out a video every Friday, and it'll just be one video a week, and that's because I just don't have the freedom that I used to have. So I'm very grateful for that. The other part is during that time that I was in those 5 years I was in this other position, it allowed me to both act and be treated certain ways that I wouldn't necessarily want to be treated, or I wouldn't want to treat other people that way, and I wouldn't want to act that way. When I say act, I know you're thinking like, oh, what are you talking about? Are you talking about being fake? Or no, what I mean is where you have to think twice before you speak. You have to filter your language. You can't, you try to be yourself at work, but you know you have to tailor yourself to your audience. That's what I'm talking about. I've removed that obstacle from me now. I am 100% myself in my new job, and it's freaking wonderful, and I love it. It was instant with my new position I'm in. It was instant chemistry. It's just great. It's great. I love it. With the previous job, I didn't have that. I'm not saying that's a negative. I'm saying it was a different dynamic. It was a different. Well, I know it sounds like I'm being negative. I'm not. That's not my goal. It was a very different environment, and a lot of the things that I went through and had to go through, I didn't appreciate that I needed to go through that. There were some things in me that I needed to correct, and had I not gone through these experiences and this type of environment, I wouldn't have known. Now, I will tell you, on the professional side, I probably regressed a little bit, and I wasn't growing professionally because I got too in my comfort zone. And if you don't get out of your own comfort zone, you don't grow. So I needed to get out of my own way, basically, and grow. And the only way I was able to do that was to get outside of my comfort zone. And that's what I did. When I took this new position, I pushed myself, and I knew it was going to be a little harder, a little more challenging. And I'm grateful that I did push myself, and other people did push me because I didn't do it alone. You can't do anything alone. You cannot be successful by yourself. You need help. That was another issue I had with why I didn't grow in my previous role. It was because I was alone so much. I was pretty much working by myself. I did see my crew and the people on my team occasionally, like very little. But for the most part, months could go by and I don't see anybody else. It's hard to grow in that type of environment. At least for me it is. For some people would absolutely love it. Now, on the surface of it, if I told you you're going to make X amount of money, you're going to have all this freedom, you're going to get vacation whenever you want, you get to do whatever you want, and as long as you take care of the job occasionally, you'd be all for it, right? But after you've done it for a while, I equate it to being on a tropical island. If you've ever been on a tropical island by yourself, say Castaway, for example. Castaway, great example. You land on a tropical island. You're happy, it's tropical, it's beautiful. Day one. Week one, you're like, man, I'm starting to miss my family, I'm starting to miss some things. No problem, but you're still okay. Imagine now you're on that island for 5 years. 5 years. How would you feel? How does that affect your mental state? How does it affect your confidence when people talk to you and question you in your position? Are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Is everything... You don't know because you don't get feedback, because you don't talk to anybody, because you don't see anybody. That was an environment that did not help me in a lot of ways. Mentally was a huge one. I had a real struggle mentally in that environment. It wasn't... There was nothing wrong with the position or the company. The problem was... The thing that was wrong was it did not fit well with me and my personality and my mental health, basically. So it was not a good fit for me. That's the best way to say it. The new position I'm in, it's just absolutely phenomenal. I can't say it enough. I can't tell you how happy I am in my new position. I don't have the freedom I had before, but I definitely have a team, a family with me, and I have people I work with and people that work for me, and people I work in outside resources that I also have to talk to, and it's great. It's like I'm back in the world again, and I'm absolutely ecstatic for it. And so The only downside is you guys are going to see less content because I don't have time to make it. But that's what has happened over the last 5 years. I'm not going to mention names. I'm not going to get into the little intimate details. But the last 5 years have been a very big struggle for me. And YouTube was my outlet. YouTube was my resource. But you guys remember years ago, I used to go on these road trips with Auto Amateur, Michael from Motors and Meats, Jay Reed. I would go cross country. I've been cross country 3 times with these guys. I've met them in the Rockies. And we used to do all these different things. And as time has gone on, I've done less and less of them. And that's the reason. That's the reason. I couldn't do it anymore. And now we're back, baby. We are back. And we're going to do these things. It's going to be a little more challenging because I have a firm schedule work-wise, and I have more responsibility, and I have to cover that. That comes first. But I promise you, there will be content. Just stick with me. Once a week, every Friday, 6 a.m. Pacific time on Fridays, I will drop a new video every Friday. That's my new motto. That's my new goal. I'm not in the Porsche right now. I'm in the Passat. And if you're wondering why I'm in the Passat and not in the Porsche, it's because I ordered the splash shield. So that'll be probably the next video. I ordered the splash shield that goes under the car to replace the center one that's broken off. I did go back and watch the Porsche detailed inspection video when Porsche dealer did it in slow motion. It's clearly there. They did not do it. It does look like it has been removed and installed at some point. It doesn't matter. Point is, it's broken. It needs to be fixed. So I ordered a new one. It's kind of new. I bought a OEM part from eBay. So hopefully it's good. It looked great in the pictures. It saved me $100 from buying an OEM brand new one. So $100 discount, I'll take that. And that'll be the next thing we install. And for the future, I have a few things I want to do to this car that now I will have the ability to do to this car. And I'll just go ahead and tell you now. I don't know when, but I'll tell you now. We're going to install Damptronic coilovers on this car at some point in the future. Maybe in the next 12 months, maybe sooner. We don't know. But Damptronic coilovers are definitely going to go into this car. So thank you guys. I love you all. Thank you for watching my videos. But thank you so much for all the video, the love, and sticking with me because it's been a tough last few years. But we're back. We're back and we're happy. All right. Catch you guys on the next video. See you not this Friday, but the next Friday.